All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to dim the lights and dive headfirst into the dark corners of the internet. We're here to figure out what really truly makes a story scary. We're going to pull back the curtain on modern horror and dissect the anatomy of our own fear.
So let me ask you a question. What makes a story actually scary? Is it the fangs, the claws, the monster hiding under the bed? Or is it something a little quieter, something a lot closer to home, something that feels like it could really happen? That's what we're digging into today. Okay, here's our roadmap for this. Let's call it an unsettling journey. First, we're going to look at the anatomy of fear itself. Then, we'll explore some stories where reality just starts to come apart at the seams. We'll uncover threats hiding in plain sight. We'll analyze a terrifying case of a nightmare neighbor. And then finally, we'll get to the bottom of what we really fear most. So, first up, you know the horror that really sticks with you? The kind you're still thinking about long after you turn the lights off? It doesn't come from some made-up monster. No, it comes from taking the normal, safe, everyday parts of our world and just twisting them until they feel deeply wrong. The fancy psychological term for this is the uncanny, and you know this feeling. It's that spine-tingling, skin-crawling sensation you get when something you know and trust, like your own reflection, a voice on the phone, or even a neighbor, suddenly feels alien. That feeling is the engine driving every story we're about to look at. So let's jump into our first category and see how this works. These are the kinds of stories that get under your skin, because they suggest that the basic rules of our world, logic, physics, cause and effect, are way more fragile than we think, and they can be broken at any time. I mean, think about something as simple as a phone call. It follows rules, right? It's predictable. You dial, someone answers. But an uncanny phone call, that shatters all the rules. It comes from nowhere. Or maybe it comes from somewhere impossible. So, check out our first case. There's this guy working the night shift at a campground, and he finds out about this weird, isolated payphone. Every single night it rings once, at exactly 4:17 a.m. So he starts answering it. For a whole week, nothing, just dead air. It's a kind of harmless mystery, right? Well, then one night the routine breaks. A gravelly voice he's never heard before says his full name.
And this right here, this is the core of the fear. He traces the call, and it came from California. He's in Indiana. The logic is just gone. That safe barrier of distance has completely collapsed, and suddenly a simple phone call becomes this impossible, very personal threat.
Okay, here's another perfect example of this. You lose your phone. What's the first thing you do? You call it. Super logical action. You expect a certain outcome. But in this story, the outcome is not logical at all. Someone answers, lets out this low, raspy giggle, and then just hangs up. I mean, right away, that is incredibly unsettling. But the real horror, the thing that makes this story stick with you, it all hinges on this one simple question. Where was that phone? Who could have possibly answered it? Your brain just starts racing through all of the logical possibilities. Someone found it, it's a prank.
And then you get the punchline. The phone was on the nightstand the entire time. There's just no rational explanation for what happened. The laws of reality, they just broke for a second. See, it wasn't about a ghost. It was about that chilling moment you realize the world isn't working the way you thought it did.
Okay, let's bring the fear a little closer to home now. We've seen what happens when the laws of physics break down, but what about when the rules of society break down? This next type of fear it's more primal. It's the terrifying idea that the real threats aren't some far-off monsters, but they're people. People hiding behind a mask of normalcy. Just look at how this story builds. Each step is just a small, unnerving violation. A rock through a window. Okay. An unlocked car. Weird, but these things could be a coincidence. But then the pieces start to connect. This man with an insane smile, riding a stolen bike. Your mom's stolen bike. The open car door. It's not random anymore. It's a pattern. Someone is watching you. Someone has been in your space. And this is just chilling. A kid is waiting for the school bus, and a different driver shows up. This is a figure of authority, of safety, but the bus is empty, and his invitation is just a little too weird, a little too pushy. We will go get them now, just get on. It's the subversion of that trust that makes this so absolutely terrifying. The safe world you thought you knew, it's a lie.
All right, now for our main event. This is a case study that really combines all of these different fears into one masterclass of escalating terror. This is about the ultimate violation, the corruption of our safest space, our home. Because let's be real, if you're not safe there, where are you ever safe? So it all starts with these red flags. The neighbor is just off. There's loud, religious radio blaring all night. The walls are covered in painted crosses and scribbled words. The windows are painted black. The apartment itself is a total mess, filled with filth and cockroaches. And there's this smell, like a dead dog, but there's no dog. It's all just creating this thick, heavy atmosphere of dread, right on the other side of the wall.
And then, the breach. The narrator wakes up in the middle of the night to find the neighbor standing over his bed. And she hasn't threatened him. In fact, she offers him a piece of advice. You should lock your doors at night. But she says this after she's already proven that locks mean nothing to her. She's already violated the sanctuary.
From that point on, her behavior just goes completely off the rails. She's seen carrying her dead, rotting dog around in a bag. She breaks into another apartment, holding a power drill. The point is, her psychosis is escalating, and she is terrifyingly, dangerously unpredictable. And the other residents are totally helpless. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together now. After walking through these 5 deeply unsettling stories, what's the common ingredient? What is it that we, in our modern world, are truly the most afraid of?
So as you can see right here, each story targets a very specific psychological nerve. The phone stories, they prey on our fear of reality itself just crumbling. The bus driver and the stalker, they exploit our fear of hidden predators, of having our personal space violated. And the nightmare neighbor, well, she combines all of these fears into one terrifying package, an unpredictable threat that invades the one place you're supposed to be safe.
So here's the most crucial point of all. Not a single one of these stories needed a ghost, a demon, or some creature from another dimension. The horror is entirely human. It's born from the familiar. It's born when the quiet rules of logic and trust and safety that we rely on every single day suddenly and inexplicably just break. And that really brings us to our final thought. The fear that these stories create isn't just about something that happened to someone else somewhere else. It's about what could happen to us. It's a reminder of just how fragile our sense of safety really is. Which kind of leads me to ask, have you checked your locks tonight?